Motivation on the go with Shay on this evening. Hello to everybody tuning in with me on this evening. I hope your day did go well for you. And if it didn't, life happens, y'all. It happens. So, whatever issues you had today, or if you had an unfavorable day, just try your best to not take it into tomorrow. All right. Let's try to leave it where it is. Say you some prayers before you go to bed to ease your mind, ease your spirit. And let's try to leave it where it is. All right. If you do happen to have to pick it back up again, just say a prayer before you go into the situation. Let's try to make those loads lighter. And one of the ways we do that is by casting those burdens on up to God. All right. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of brief motivation before we get ready to lay it down. I'm going to share the daily text actually. And I normally try to get to it at the beginning of the day. But my mornings are so short, seems like it. Time is flying now. So I figured I'd go ahead and share it with you tonight. And you can meditate over it, and hopefully it helps you get a good night's rest. All right. So yeah, let's get into this motivation. It's coming from Philippians 2:13, which reads, God is the one who energizes you, giving you both the desire and the power to act. Y'all, sometimes we feel hopeless. Sometimes we feel helpless. Sometimes we're weighed down, we're depressed. But guess what? God is the one who, in those moments, energizes you. He'll give us a desire as well as the power to act. Because sometimes you don't even have the desire. Let's just be real. Sometimes you don't even feel like it. Sometimes you could just be so drained. And I mean, when you're going through things, it drains you anyway. But God is the one who energizes us. God is the one who gives us the desire, the will, and the power to act. Motivation plays a key role in reaching spiritual goals, is what the daily text was talking about. A motivated person has a strong incentive or a desire to work towards their goal. Motivation is so important, y'all. It's very important. That's why we want to make sure we are surrounding ourselves by people who motivate us in the direction of positivity, in the direction of being better, okay? Because the more motivated we are, the more likely we are to reach our goals. You're not going to be reaching your goals, y'all, if you're not motivated. And if you're not going to God in prayer, and trying to, be re energized, guess what? You just may never reach those goals. All right. So, in order to feel more motivated, pray to God, ask for more motivation because by means of his spirit, he can motivate you to reach that goal, honey. I'm telling you. Sometimes we set a goal because we know we should. And of course, that's a good thing, but we may not really have the desire to reach it. How many of y'all can relate to that? You set a goal, but now you don't have the drive to do it. You don't even have the desire. All right. In those moments, meditate, lean on God, rely on God. The more you do it, the more sincere you are, you will see God move on your behalf. All right. Think about what God has done for you in the past. Some of us forget sometimes. We forget what God has already done for us, what we've seen God do for others. Look at all the testimonies in the scriptures as well as the testimonies in real life. Okay. Think about the Apostle Paul, is what was mentioned in the daily text, and how he meditated on God's undeserved kindness towards him, and that motivated him to work harder for God. Isn't that something? The more we meditate on what God has done for us, think about it. What's your story? What has he done for you lately? Think about that for a moment. Sometimes we often forget. I mean, it can't be judgmental there. I mean, life is life and for most of us. And you can forget, but a good reminder goes a long way. That's why we want to make prayer a routine. I'm sorry, make it a habit. And before long, it will be routine. You don't want to just, pray every now and then, and I'm telling you, it just won't hit the same. It won't benefit us the same. I'm sorry, as when we're doing it on a regular basis, genuinely talking to God. You don't have to always be asking God something. You could just about whatever. You talk to him about whatever you talk to anybody else about. It's an open line of communication. He's not getting tired. He don't have to call you back. He's not putting you on hold. He's not falling asleep. Okay. He's listening. He has your I'm sorry, you have his full attention. You will have his full attention. Sometimes when we're talking to people, we may be venting or just going to them for advice or whatnot. You ever been talking to someone and they just space out a little bit? It doesn't necessarily mean that they weren't listening to you. They're imperfect. That mind may have started to wonder. But guess what? God's mind is not going to wonder. He's only tuned in to you and your problem. He's listening because he wants to know how to best help you, help fix the problem. And I promise you, the solution is going to be tailored to you, not to me or anybody else. It's going to be tailored to you and your situation because we're all different. Some of us can handle things better than others. So God is not going to drop onto us what's, too much for us to bear. Remember, we talked before about 9 times out of 10, we're picking up too much. We're, voluntarily taking on more than we should because God is definitely not placing more than we can bear onto us. All right. So, again, the more motivated you will begin to feel when you reach out to God, make that petition known to God. All right. I'm going to tell you right now, think about what He's done for you. You hear people say all the time, oh, God is good. How is He good? What has He done? Are you living your life accordingly? Are you showing through your actions, choices, and decisions that God is, in fact, good? Or are you just saying it? Okay? Because remember, the person out here speaking loose words or empty words can be considered a person as far away from God as possible. So we have to be careful. We have to keep a close watch on ourselves. All right? The more motivated you will begin to feel, you will be more likely to reach your goal, accomplish things that you want to accomplish. You'll get it done in a timely manner. You know, you'll be able to focus in. I'm telling you, it's amazing. It truly is amazing how God truly comes through and helps us. He is the solution to all of our problems. But many of us haven't formulated that relationship, so we're not aware of that. All right. Listen, I was speaking with a friend the other day about how in one day, I literally had like 8 or 9 blessings hit me back to back in one day. Y'all, I was overwhelmed. I was overjoyed. Those tears of joy when all you can do is just look up to God and say, thank you. That's what God will do for you as well. You just got to remain steadfast. Continue to trust in God. Continue to rely on God. Meditate on His word. All right. Life beats us up. Situations beat us up. People beat us up. Doesn't have to be physically, you know, but we carry so much. But God is willing to carry that load for us so that we can gain power from Him, be re energized, so that we can, once again pick up that desire and get that power to act. All right, y'all. Remember, motivation plays a key role in reaching not just regular goals, but spiritual goals as well. All right. The more motivated you are, I'm going to tell you, it's going to show in your fruits. All right. And you're going to be more likely to accomplish things that you want to accomplish. You will feel accomplished for real. You will. And that's because God is in the mix. All right. And that's my motivation for you guys before you get ready to lay it down. Very brief, simple, to the point, but also very important. All right. A good reminder. Don't um don't think that you're in this fight alone. We're never alone as long as God is on our side. And just like the scriptures say, as long as God is for you, it truly really doesn't matter who isn't, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter at all. And the more we lean on God, we'll see that more. It's one thing to say it, y'all, but when you truly are striving to do the right thing, to do right by God, it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. Doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes, but What a lot of people don't realize, I think, is the closer you draw to God, the more that mind is being made over as well. Some people give up too easily. You give up before your ship sails in. You know, we're so antsy. We're already, in an environment surrounded by wanting things now. I want it and I want it now. We don't want to wait. I look around today, people don't want to wait. They're flying down the street. They're impatient waiting in line in the store. I mean, no matter where you go, people are just so impatient. And a lot of times it's like, where do you have to be? Okay? But I'm gonna tell you one thing. When you draw closer to God, you view everything differently. You'll start to give yourself more time so that you're not always rushing, because we learn to view life differently. You'll stop leaving out of the house for work 5 minutes till and then fussing and yelling the whole way to work because you're the only one trying to do 85 miles an hour down the freeway, you know? But as God revamps our mind, we truly we tighten up in all areas. We gain a deeper respect for ourselves. You'll gain a deeper respect for your job or whatever, it is you have to get to. You'll want to be there on time. You'll be, molded in all areas of life to turn you into a better person. Okay, y'all? That's some motivation on the go with Shay on this evening. I hope this helps. Once again, it's each one teach one. And as long as we're all looking to, or should I say, wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody just looked towards pouring into others in a positive way? Oh, wow. What type of world would we live in if that were to happen, right? Unfortunately, that's not the reality. But don't let it stop you from being the best version of yourself. Don't let it stop you from wanting to pour into others with positivity, with love, encouragement, and motivation. Continue doing these things. Continue doing these things. Do it from your heart. Do it just because. Remember, God knows everything. He knows if you're doing something for show. He knows if you're doing something to gain brownie points. He knows if you're doing something to make an impression. What he's looking for is that we're to see that we're genuinely doing these things from our heart, expecting nothing in return. Because that's truly when you'll get, an abundance of blessings. You don't even expect anything in return. You're doing it because you simply want to. It makes all the difference. All right, y'all. All right, if you didn't get a chance to hit that like button coming in, do me a favor, hit it on your way out. Have a good night. But remember, y'all, remember, try your best to spend some time with God through prayer before you go to bed. I promise you, you will gain the motivation that you've lost. All right? God will help you. All right? All right, y'all. Peace out. Talk to y'all later. Bye bye.